you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, I work in a school and I'm in admin. I'm not teaching, and my hours are very long. I leave home at about 8ish, reach back at about 5, sometimes 6. So it is a long, tiring day.
And what's your name?
I'm Anuradha Hussain.
Okay, so you work in a school, so like, as you said, you have really long working hours. So, how do you like keep fresh most of the day? Like, obviously, even if you have an ice cold shower during the morning, at the end of the day, you're going to be like soaking wet. So, how do you keep fresh during the day? Because
Yeah, you know how humid Guwahati
yeah,
is, and we don't have ACs in
you don't
all
have
the
ACs.
rooms. In all the rooms, no. So what I do to keep fresh is, firstly you have to have a cool brain, I feel.
Yeah.
And then apart from that, of course, deos and perfumes, and you can't smell too, you can't be.
I mean, you're an admin, so you
Yeah,
have to be
so,
fresh.
yeah,
when
you
people-
know, the deos help a lot, but then there is a kind of a clash between an antiperspirant deo and a perfume.
Yeah, so like coming to you, like when you say deos or perfumes, what do you prefer more to use? Like
Deo
what
is a
your
staple. Deo is a staple. Perfume, yes. When I in school, you don't really want to smell like no, not like a kind of a flower or something. You just need to not have deo and things like that. So deos work. Deos work. So I use
So
a deo.
basically, you use deo for everyday work.
Every day I use my staple is a Nivea. I
Okay.
use a Nivea Fresh Day. So that is good, and it's
But
light.
why do you prefer using deos, not perfumes?
Perfumes, basically what I feel is they make you smell good, but deos help to kind of keep the body fresh too,
Okay.
right? So I don't know, I may be wrong, but then somehow I feel that a deo helps you not perspire so much also.
Yeah.
Right? And perfume maybe is just for the fragrance. So
Does budget also play a role in this? Like obviously deos are like
yeah, cheaper.
FMCGs, you just
Yeah.
pick them up and go. And
Yeah, no, but I don't compromise with my
Budget.
perfumes and deos regarding budget,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, it's like you're working hard, you're earning, and you have to buy the best. So sometimes very expensive deos and perfumes may not be the fragrance of your choice.
So you mainly use perfumes for parties and stuff.
Yeah, perfumes for the evening do's maybe.
Okay. So like you said Nivea is your preferred brand. Why is it so? Why Nivea and not anything else?
It's a very light, fresh fragrance, and in the sense that it lasts very long.
No, but like if you look at light, fresh fragrance, I mean a lot of other brands are there like Dove, Fa, and I mean even Axe. Other brands like that. So why do you prefer only Nivea? Why?
Yeah, I've tried everything. It's not that I just stuck to Nivea.
So after all of that, you finally.
I started off with I don't know if you remember. Earlier we used to many years back we used to go to Singapore to buy just deos because they used to be cheaper there and things like that. But
You used to wait to go to Singapore and buy
yes,
stock.
but usually people used to travel and pick up a whole bunch. There was something called an impulse. I don't know if you even heard it, much before your time. But impulse was like, then days when I just started working, maybe 22 decades back. So it was the thing. But gradually, the Indian market has really
Opened
flooded
up.
up, yeah, with a lot of stuff. So fragrances I'm talking about. So now I feel that you have a lot of choice, a lot of variety.
So like, I mean, you're saying you used to wait for stock from Singapore
Yes,
to come. So
in fact,
otherwise,
I
when did
did.
deos come in? Like, I'm not too sure.
Long
because
back. I mean,
it must have been really new for all of you. Was it introduced before you were born or like?
no, they were there before we were born.
So which are the well-known deos back then?
Oh, Yardley was one very common
Oh, yeah.
brand with powders and with deos.
Okay.
Dust powders.
So why Impulse then? I mean, what
See,
all options did you have back then?
No, we didn't have many options. I mean, like, listen, I'm not a relic, but still, it was Yardley. The rose was very common, the pink one, I still remember. And Impulse had a whole range of fragrances, So, and then of course that thing, going abroad was something very new then, you know.
Yeah, so
And
things
then,
coming
yeah,
from abroad.
getting things back from abroad was wow. So that way, but then now everybody goes
Now
there
everything-
every day, yeah.
Now it's more
So,
of like
it's-
technology
yeah.
stuff coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
So like back in the day, you said Yardley was one. So how did you know about these brands? Were they advertised a lot or just word of mouth? Like how did you know that these brands were brands?
So, you know, the concept of, in Guwahati especially, the concept of buying things off the rack, off the shelves,
Okay.
came in pretty late. So,
Okay.
you know what happened was when we had these, what do you call these?
FMCG.
No, FMCG, and these the places like quick shops and all where they
Yeah,
displayed
yeah.
all this stuff. So that really helped to kind of advertise by itself. I mean, we could touch the DO, we could even have testers for it. You had pantaloons, West Side coming in that much later, but before that, the
So you could try
display-
it before buying?
Yeah, we could. We could, and that helped a lot. That helped because then you could, you know, not just take the cap off and smell. You could use it, testers. You could use it and check
So
it
were
out.
they sampling it or you had to test it? You couldn't like take a sample away and
No,
keep it first?
no way. So we're just testers. So you test and see what you like.
So there were no ads as such on TV?
Yeah, they were
newspaper?
ads. They were.
So I mean, what's the first ad that you can recall if you think of deodorants as such?
You know, the first ad which really made an impact on me was the Axe ad. Really, you know, and it was.
When did Axe come in for you guys?
Pretty recently. It wasn't very.
Okay. Why did it make an impact?
Because I liked the ad. In fact, it was, people call it sexist
Yeah.
or whatever, but I thought it was really neat because, you know, you to
Which
sell
ad
something,
is
to sell something, you have to have an impact on the brain of a person, you know.
Yeah.
So whether it's a male or a female, the product may be a male product, but then if you can, you know, go to the market thinking that yes, I want to buy, and at the shelf you kind of connect with the ad, and then the ad, oh, that's the ad, you know, that's the ad. That was what the ad was like. Maybe I don't use it, but then it did make an impact.
So I mean, you're saying it made an impact. So I mean, which ad comes to your mind? Like, which is your favorite? I was just going to get into Axe. So like, which was your favorite Axe ad as such? And why do you think
You know,
it made such an
I
impact?
can't really remember which ad per se, but then definitely I remember, you know, the chocolate thing.
Yeah, the chocolate one.
Yeah, that really was, because chocolate, the fragrance was kind of different and.
So did you ever
new.
use that?
Yes, I didn't. My daughters did, and I kind of walked into the fragrance through them. But then, yeah, it was.
So your daughters used Axe
Oh,
chocolate.
oh yes, they do. In fact, my younger daughter is a total male deodorant kind of yeah.
But like, obviously you brought up the whole sexist thing. I mean, yeah, it's one to make ads that really hit you and impact. Like when you look at it, you recall it because you know they made such a profound statement. But like ads should also make sense, right? Like I don't know if you've seen that ad where angels fall from the sky because this one guy is spraying deodorant and they break their halos and tear off their wings just because he's spraying Axe. So
But
I
don't
mean,
you think it's cute?
it's cute, but I mean, at the end of it, don't you think it should also make a little sense? Because I mean, when I looked at that ad, I thought the church would flip because I mean,
Yeah.
it's going against the whole.
Actually, so you know, when you take it in that sense, yes. But then the person who must have thought of it really wanted to have an. I mean, he was trying to make a statement, saying that, you know, even something so divine can have an effect with the Axe fragrance. And that was the idea behind it, not the church flipping or, you know, like the religious thing didn't play. But not that I've seen the ad, but now that you're telling me about this, that I think it's really cute.
Okay. So, but like you said, Axe ads have had a really profound effect. Can you recall any Nivea ads that you've seen?
No, funnily enough, not. You know, but then
So why not Axe? Like if you've seen an ad,
Are you
like
asking
I
me
mean,
why I don't use Axe?
yeah, because as a consumer, like if I would see something that would really catch my eye, the first reaction would be like, oh, I should try it. So
For one, I think Axe fragrance is a bit too strong for my nature.
okay.
I mean, like, you know, what I like is a little.
But I mean, you're
laid
saying
down.
this with reference to it. Have you ever purchased Axe?
Yes, definitely.
So which one did you like?
We've
use?
had, I can't remember the names, but then the blue one,
Okay.
I think, and then the chocolate definitely. can't remember the others, but then we've had Axe in the house because my daughters use it, so the younger one. So that I've seen, I've purchased it for them, but
So you felt that the fragrance
it was a little too loud for me.
And also one thing that Axe did, which was really innovative, was that usually, I don't know if it's happened with you, but it happens with me a lot. Like when I have a perfume or deo bottle, I always tend to lose the cap, and then eventually the fragrance goes away.
Huh?
Yeah, so Axe came up with this twist cap, which you could just twist and turn, and it will open and close. That was one reason it really sold a lot. So.
Was it? I really don't know about that, but yes, it makes a lot of sense, But twist caps, for you all may be losing caps, but for me it wasn't really about. You're saying that twist cap makes more sense for your generation.
Yeah. No, yes, your daughters never used your perfumes and.
Oh, that is one staple thing. Opening up a cover and not putting it back, or losing it, that has been staple. That's why they have their own deos and not mine.
Okay. So basically you use Nivea after a lot of trial and error, right?
Yeah, Nivea I've used after a lot of trial and error, and Nivea has graduated. They have different fragrances now. So you have a choice.
Seen a change in Nivea from before and now?
Nivea is comparatively a very new product. They used to have the
creams,
a flat white kind of with the blue cover. Yeah, and then they graduated to powder, and then they came into fragrances. And yes, fragrances is comparatively new, but I kind of just kind of relate to Nivea more than anything else.
You feel like it's more you than anything else?
I find I find that the fragrance is lasting. What would you want your deodorant to be?
To do the job.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's long lasting, and it's nice and feminine, and in the sense that it gives you a fresh feel and you smell good the whole day.
Okay. So you said you feel Nivea is more feminine in that sense. Yeah. So you said that you like Nivea because it's a feminine brand. So going to Axe, then Axe is again going back to that. It's pretty sexist. So
I know that was coming. Anyway, tell me.
I don't know if you've seen this one ad, because even though you're cool with Axe being all sexist as long as it's selling, there was this one ad that I had once seen. It was a particular ad around a concept in today's generation, you'd say, wherein the ad is basically about this one guy, and he wakes up after a night in bed with someone. So basically it shows that one problem that every guy faces is, even after they've scored, as they say, the previous night, the main problem is the girl doesn't let you go because they want to cuddle, right? So that's one central problem for everyone, because even if they want to go, they can't do anything. And throughout the ad, they're showing scenes where he's playing tennis and she's still cuddling him, and he's trying to watch a football match and she's still cuddling him. So basically what Axe did, which I felt was very derogatory in that sense, even though I'm cool with all the ads myself, is that they came up with this one bottle mainly meant for this, and a blow-up pillow. So basically what this blow-up pillow does is, it forms a chest with two arms, and it comes in different varieties. One is hairy chest, one is simple chest.
Lord.
And you have to basically spray the deo on it so that it smells like you. And at the end of the ad, the guy is literally celebrating because the girl gets fooled and she turns around thinking it's him. So that was one thing I felt was really derogatory. So going back to that, so Axe, fine, it's selling now, but eventually, you do have the whole tomboy concept where girls are also taking to men's brands, but with the whole feminism thing coming up again, I don't think a lot of them would shift to Axe. So why is Nivea so central to your everyday use?
Nivea. You see, it's a personal choice first, and secondly, what would you look into a deodorant? What would you use? Whichever suited you, whatever. So I like Nivea, one, because it's so fresh, the smell. It lingers for hours and hours, and it comes in two different fragrances. Maybe more, but the ones I like, and it's part of me now. I cannot say that I can change to another brand and not like it, because there are certain evening kind of deos or perfumes that I have. But Nivea, as you kind of started off with work day and keeping myself fresh during the work, I kind of relate myself to just that, because it's not overpowering, because you don't want to smell like a perfume factory in school and at work, and you just want to feel fresh and have a lingering fragrance. So that's why I thought maybe that is the reason why I kind of.
So you said, you said you can't recall any Nivea ads at all, right?
I really, it's amazing. I just can't.
But do you ever recall ever coming across any ads, or you just have never seen any?
There were ads. Maybe very Nivea ad. Come to think of it, the latest Nivea thing with the whitening something, underarm whitening thing.
That's Nivea?
Yeah, I don't know if it is.
That was Dove.
Is it?
A lot of them are doing the same thing now.
Yeah, maybe Dove, but then I just cannot relate to any Nivea ad when I think back.
So basically, as much advertising that Axe is doing, and it does catch your eye as well, you can't recall any ad of Nivea, but you use Nivea only.
You know why? It's just that this concept of going up to a shelf and kind of touching the product by buying it and trying it out. Maybe that made me go for Nivea, because it was really fresh. And talking about, like you just said about the budget thing and all this, and not that it affects, but still, as a woman and as an earner in that family, I'd obviously want to kind of economize.
And get your money's worth, obviously.
Absolutely. So maybe that's why. Otherwise, it's...
so it's like a habit
open.
from back then. You've been using Nivea, so always Nivea. So coming to Axe again, would you ever recommend it to anybody?
Certainly.
Even, okay fine, if you had a friend, let's say, who's completely feminist and who hates the Axe ads, how would you convince her to buy Axe? Let's say if you had to sell Axe to her, how do you do it?
See, firstly, thankfully I don't have too many feminist friends, but if I had to sell Axe, I would really, in fact, very frankly, I love the ads. I don't know why. I just like the concept. It's a very fresh, new concept. Like what you just said about
the angels.
Yeah, the angels, and maybe it had a kind of a very cute concept in the sense that it's a very fresh thinking. So I look at it that way. And most of my friends, like if I had to sell Axe, I'd give them Axe on their birthdays and say, oh wow, try it. That kind of thing.
What if they give it back to you saying, no, this is against my...
I don't have those kind of friends. So that is not a worry. But the thing is you want to promote something, maybe you have to convincingly first use it. That's not me. Thankfully I have the gift of the gab, which I can use to convince someone else. But that is that. And Axe is a good product, and it's a very young product, I would say.
It's more youth oriented.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, it's strong and it's nice. I have nothing against Axe. Just that I'm kind of set because of me. But not that the being set in Nivea doesn't mean I don't appreciate Axe. They should in fact start something for say in a different line, maybe a little softer fragrance, or maybe a little feminine looking kind of container or whatever.
So basically, this is one thing I have asked a couple of people. Do you think, what if this could be either do or die for Axe? If it works, it will really boom them. It will revolutionize the brand. Do you think Axe should start with a woman's line, sell to women specifically? They've shown so much of men-oriented ads and how girls go gaga over men. Do you think if Axe would come up with a woman's line of deos, how do you think it would work?
Well, in fact, a lot of fragrances have the dual kind of concept, men and women. I really don't know why Axe hasn't come up with it so far.
Because I feel when you said, a lot of deo brands come up with men and women. So the thing is, you talk about single-minded propositions when you're selling something. So yeah, a lot of brands have come up with men and women, but when I ask you, can you name 5 that have come up with men and women? Because when you talk about a men-oriented deodorant like Axe, you remember it because you know ki it's all about girls going gawa gawa men. But a lot of brands, which even I won't be able to recall 5 to 6 of them, because they're trying to sell to both, they kind of get lost in that mix, and so I think Axe, that's why it's worked so well, and even Dove for that sense, because Dove caters only to women. So a lot of women can relate to Dove, like how a lot of men relate to Axe. So like I'm saying, like if Axe were to introduce this, do you think they would also get stuck in that entire mix of trying to deal with both types of market?
Yeah, I don't really agree with this in the sense that deos for both men and women come out with a total different fragrance set. So a lot of them, and of course taking sales into consideration, Axe doesn't need it or doesn't require it. I don't really understand. But if you're looking at the Indian market and you want to kind of grab both sexes for the sale, then I think okay. So basically the sale for both the male and the female fragrances. I mean, like, I don't know how Axe hasn't come up with it yet. So that's what I was trying to do.
I mean, one main thing is, so basically the main objective would be to how to sell to women, right? Because it's such a male-dominated brand. So, do you think in all of that process, in the process of trying to sell to women, they would lose their male? I don't know, because if you look at a typical Axe lover and who's very like, this works because girls dig me because I use it. So, do you think if Axe starts promoting it for women, he'll feel, it'll affect the way he used to look at the brand now, because now girls are using it? And if Axe were to do this, how do you think the ads would be like?
No, I don't think that would happen because like they have been so kind of hitting the male market like that, or the male psyche with the ads. They would, I'm sure, come up with something equally interesting with the female psyche. So when it comes to ad, they have a different kind of thinking to it. And for the female product, I'm sure they'll have something similar. So I don't see how they'd lose their male market. I don't agree with that.
So I mean, how do you think they would?
They should come up with equally interesting ads about how men would dig
Women if they
women.
use.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, like women get so offended. Do you think men would get offended?
Not really. I mean, Axe selling, isn't it?
Yeah.
In spite of the ads, Axe selling. They have sales. I mean, I'm sure you have the statistics.
Yeah, but then I mean, see, right now a massive chunk of Axe sales, if it's dropping, is because of women, right? So now, if let's say I'm a woman and I'm a feminist.
Is there a proof to that?
Yeah, because I've heard, like, normally when we've spoken to people, a lot of girls flinch when you say Axe because they're like, it's very derogatory for women. So the thing is, like, you're saying it wouldn't affect the sales.
What percentage is this derogatory feeling?
A lot of people.
Really?
Like, even if you look at a lot of, surveys conducted online, a lot of women really hate Axe. I know a lot of people myself who hate Axe because of the whole projection.
They need to grow up, I think.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, do you think this hardcore feminist who used to hate Axe so much, now if they're showing guys falling over men, do you think they would change their idea about Axe as a brand and then shift to?
Absolutely. Even if it is just as a revenge, they would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel so. Because as a product, I'm sure it will come up with something great, as it is doing so for men. But the ad reversal shouldn't affect. In fact, it should increase the sales.
And because one more brand that does that really well is Fast Track, because it sells very well for men and women. So yeah.
In comparison, that is, yeah, very true. I feel that if you have some hot girls in the ad and all that stuff, and men falling for them, I mean, like, why should men mind it? I mean, they would try the female perfumes too.
They would.
I'm sure some of them would. Because I'm sure they come up with some equally steamy ads for the females.
So you feel it wouldn't affect that?
Not at all. I don't feel it would affect. In fact, the sales would really go up.
Okay. So you think Axe should try something like that?
They should, definitely. And in fact, if they can come up with something subtle for middle-aged women, I'm sure I'll change over to Axe any day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm Ria, and I'm a student studying in Delhi University.
Which college are you from?
Indraprastha College for Women.
Okay, so you're a student and you live in Delhi. So, I mean, as far as what I've heard about Delhi, the worst thing about Delhi is the weather. It's only extremes, right? Like summers get really hot
Yeah.
and winters are really cold. So, I mean, how do you deal with the heat in Delhi?
We have about me and my friends, we have about at least 4 times a day, 4 to
Yeah.
5 times a day. Yeah, like actually 5 times. And if it gets really hot at night, because we don't have a AC room, so we just go and have a bath. That's like our AC, and then directly come under the fan. And then if
So, but like when you go out and stuff like that, I mean, it's so hot. Like I've gone to Delhi a couple of times, so I mean, it gets really hot. So, how do you like deal with that? Like, how do you deal with the heat?
we use roll-on.
Roll-ons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to smell nice, 1 or 2 perfumes. That's all.
Perfumes.
Just 1 or 2. That's all. Otherwise, roll-ons
So
work
mainly
better.
roll-ons only.
Yeah.
So you guys don't prefer deos at all?
Sometimes because we wax,
Okay.
so that kind of burns the skin.
So that's why you don't prefer deos.
No,
But doesn't it burn when you use perfumes also?
no. We just put it on our clothes.
You just put perfume.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that also works sometimes.
So you mainly like using roll-ons,
Yeah.
not deos at all.
Roll-ons for ladies.
And winters?
Winters we can use deos on our sweaters and on
So
the
you
body.
never use deos directly to your skin.
Not always. It makes the skin black. Actually, it does.
So that's why you don't use deos. So which brands do you use when you talk about curl-ons and perfumes? Roll-ons and perfumes.
We use the one which Nivea has come out with, the recent one for women. Then there is I forgot the name. Then I use as a perfume. I use this one. Sometimes I use Davidoff for perfume because it lasts for a very long time. So,
But like when you look at like you're a student right now, so you're not earning obviously.
no, I'm not.
So like when you look at a budget, aren't perfumes more expensive compared to deos?
They are. Yeah,
So
they
like-
actually are. I never thought about it.
So like doesn't that affect why you
No,
decide
but
to pick up
perfumes are also
perfume?
damn expensive nowadays. It's about $250 per bottle. If I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
perfumes are more expensive.
No,
than
no, sorry, deos.
Which deos are like expensive?
There's one which is for 196, 196, and then you get like 3 for 350 for
So you don't like deos at all?
not much. I used to use them when I used to play when I was an athlete. It used to help then when you're setting, but otherwise now I've
So when you
stopped.
were into athletics and sports, you used to use deos.
Yeah.
So which ones would you use?
I used to use Nike, then I used to use there was a phase when I used Adidas also because they were giving offers. We had a pack of
So
3.
you were buying deos because they're giving offers.
Duh. I can't buy a good deo if it costs so much.
So like what's your budget like? As a student, how much would you spend
If
for
I
a
have
deo?
to spend on one can of deo, then it has to be about not more than 300 at least.
No more than 300.
Mm.
So but why do you like when you said roll-ons and you
Roll-ons
said
are better, sometimes when you use deo, it feels sticky also in your underarms.
deos,
Yeah.
not roll-ons?
No.
But aren't roll-ons like creamy and also?
It looks very sticky, but it's not.
It's not. So like when you say roll-ons, you said you prefer Nivea,
Nivea.
and when you say perfumes, you said.
Davidoff.
So I mean, why do you like these? Like, is it because of some specific ad you saw, or why only these brands? Like, why not use an Adidas roll-on? Why not use another brand roll-on? Why only Nivea?
Nivea, I think the smell is really nice, so it keeps me going for some time. Otherwise, no specific reason for using Nivea. It's within my budget also.
What is that?
But it depends. If I have toiletries which have lasted me for about, let's say, 1 month, then I am ready to splurge a little on other things like deos and roll-ons and perfumes. But if I'm tight in my budget, then I
Nivea.
cut down.
Then Nivea.
Yeah.
But then why Nivea? Like, were you introduced to? How did you get into
Yeah, I
Nivea?
got
as
to
a
know
brand?
about it because my friend was using it. Then I used her roll-ons once or twice, and then I really liked it, so I continued using it only. The next time I went, I tried it once. Then I kept buying it over and over again.
Okay, so when you talk about, so there are no specific ads that you've seen that have
No,
convinced
I
you
never
to buy
saw
it?
a roll-on ad actually. I always saw a deodorant ad from Nivea and creams, but I've never seen a roll-on ad.
So you've never really
No.
seen any Nivea ads at all?
No,
But when you think about deos and roll-ons and perfumes, like, can you recall any particular ads that you saw and which really stood out for you?
I've seen advertisements for Yardley. I've seen advertisements for Nike. I've seen
Nike deos.
then I've seen one for I don't know, few more I've seen, but they never quite stood out in it because I always thought because Yardley had Katrina Kaif in it, and it really was funny when I saw it with swoosh hats. But yeah, it was okay only. Nothing really stood out for me.
So none of the deo ads are really.
No.
And when you talk about perfumes, you said.
Perfumes. I got to know about perfumes through my parents.
Yeah, because usually when I've heard, I mean, for our budget, even I'm a student.
Yeah,
like,
it becomes too expensive.
Because so you usually use it when you're like going out on a
somewhere.
fancy.
When you're in college, you usually use powders or things like that because you're just having a bath and then you're going off to college, or you want to go to college and then come back and have a bath because you hardly have time. So it's when in the PG you're fresh and you want to sit down and study or chill when you want to feel cool. So yeah. Otherwise, when we go out only we use perfumes, and that too at night if we go out for dinner or clubbing or anywhere on a date.
So that's when you use perfumes.
Yeah.
But never really deos.
No.
You used to only use deos when you were like into sports and stuff.
Yeah, and I used to use guy deos.
Not girl.
No.
So when you talk about guy deos, which ones used to be? Like which one did you prefer?
I prefer Adidas. The men's Adidas.
The men's Adidas. Why is that so?
Because it had a good fragrance.
But when you talk about Adidas and all these other brands, like in comparison to some of the leaders right now in the market, like they don't really advertise as much, and they do advertise, but their advertisements aren't really making that much of an impact. And as far as I know, they don't really have as wide a variety as some of the leaders in the market. So why Adidas and why Nivea?
These are products which I've smelled on somebody and I really liked it, and I realized the fact that
So you asked them like.
I asked them once or twice what they might be using, and it stays for quite some time. Even after you're done going out and you come back, your clothes keep smelling good until you wash it. So I kind of like that whole idea, and then I don't watch TV too much. I don't watch advertisements too much, so I never had a media impact on me that I have to use a certain product just because it's out new in the market, or I want to experiment with it or something. It was not about. It was more about my personal experience. Yeah.
Word of mouth and
Yeah.
one-to-one.
Yeah.
But like, okay, fine. I'm bringing in this main product here, but like, I bet even you heard it in your friends circle. What do you think about Axe as a product? Like, you don't you never seen any Axe ad at all?
I think I used Axe once. I had an Axe phase, I think, if I'm not wrong, when I used to be training, and I use it because these guys used to bring their Axe deos to the stadium, and they used to put it after they're done playing, after they change. And then because I never used to get a deodorant or whatever to freshen myself up, I used to use theirs, and then I got into the habit, and then I started buying it, for a month or two, and then after that I stopped, and then I shifted to another one.
So there was a phase when you used to
I did.
So which one did you usually use?
I think there was this one time when they launched a chocolate.
Yeah, the chocolate
one.
So you like that?
Yeah, I like that, and there was another one which had a green
But
color.
have you seen the chocolate ad, like Axe chocolate?
Yeah, I did once or twice.
So what did you think about the ad? If you remember.
It kind of gave a very wrong message.
Yeah, so
No,
that's
it actually wasn't. It was a wrong message, but it wasn't a wrong message.
what did you feel was wrong and what did you feel was not wrong?
The fact that it was on television and the fact that our censor board was not cutting cutting a lot of it out
Like
was
what?
quite okay. Like girls chewing onto the chocolate, which was in the shape of a man. I think that was damn funny. Like you're actually eating the man.
So you were not cool with that.
And that's okay. Who knows what happens with whom? But yeah, but that's like quite, I don't know.
So did you get
Gender
offended?
bias
Did you get offended looking at?
must be happening in real life. That's why they're portraying
Do you
it.
think, as in people are walking around like chocolate?
No,
and
they're not
stuff, like
walking
eating them?
around and talking about. I'm sure what they meant was that if you put it and you're in front of a girl, she gets turned on.
But then you said you used to use that. Right?
Yeah, I used to use it.
So you started using it before seeing the ad or after seeing it?
No, before, much before.
So you used it and then after that you saw the ad?
Yeah, I watched the ad because they used a very nice jazz number in it.
Yeah, the song.
Yeah, I really liked it. So I really wanted to know what that track
Song
was.
was.
Yeah. So that's how I watched the ad, and then the ad was kind of very funny and
So
weird.
did you still continue using Axe chocolate after that?
No, I didn't. I changed to another one because that smell got onto me.
So it's not because you got offended or anything.
No, it is offensive, but yeah, I can't go up to them and just tell them. Not that I know any executive member of Axe, but that was quite wrong actually. They could have done it in a different way, but they sold the product like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, because when it came out, it was really doing the rounds. Like it was
Yeah.
really, made a huge impact. Like I said, like okay, you look at Axe now, and you look at any other brand. Like, can you recall any Adidas Leo ads?
No, I can't.
Can you
Because
recall
I never
any-
watched their advertisement.
But anywhere, like even print ads, like billboards and stuff like that. Can you recall any ads of it?
No, I think I only remember getting a whiff of it from my friend.
That's all
And
word
that's
of
it.
mouth,
Yeah.
and you stuck onto that.
Yeah.
But why not something like Axe, which is making such an effort to make such ads is really standard? Because I'm pretty sure you must have seen some more Axe ads, right? So yeah, like I said, you use Nivea and all these other brands, which like clearly you said you haven't really seen any ads on TV as such, but it's all through word of mouth. So what about brands like Axe, which are like on a constant basis trying to come up with innovative ideas? Because I don't know, have you ever experienced this problem wherein you like at least I do, like whenever you buy a deo bottle or a perfume bottle, a lot of times the cap goes missing, right? Because we put it somewhere, we forget we threw and it's lost. But I don't know if you know, this Axe came up with this twist thing.
Yeah.
So that I thought was really like innovative, because for the youth who's careless, as they say, there was no possibility of it getting lost. So if a brand like Axe is doing something different like this, which is keeping with the times and is keeping to, like Axe is mainly a youth-oriented brand, even you would agree. So why not something like Axe, and why something like Nivea, which fine, you like the smell of it and this and that, but do you consciously not want to look more into Axe, or is it just random?
No, it's just very. It's not personal in the sense that I'm not a very cosmetic person, and I really don't care that whether I'm using a women's deo or a men's deo. It really doesn't bother me, as long as I am fresh and I'm fragrant and I'm not smelling like poop. Then it's okay.
Okay, so like what other Axe ads can you recall?
I can only recall that there was another one which.
What about the click ad? Do you remember the click ad?
No, I don't actually.
There was Ranbir Kapoor was there in it once, where he keeps clicking every time a woman looks at him.
No, there was one where there were angels falling
From the sky. Yeah.
That I remember.
So what did you think about that? And there was even this one vote party thing doing the rounds, like these Lebanese girls talking on screen saying we love Indian men and stuff like that.
Yeah, that I kind of saw partially, but I thought that angel falling advertisement was really funny and weird, because why would an angel just drop out onto a because you put act like psst, psst, psst.
So see, that's the thing, what did you think about that ad?
I don't know, sometimes I feel they're going on the.
They're overdoing it?
Yeah, overdoing it, and they're very monotonous in that sense. Like they could come up with something different,
Like what?
something not related to just women dropping off from the sky just because a man is using the deodorant, or it's very stereotypical that
So who do you think Axe is really selling to?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel it's both men and women. Sometimes I feel it's just
How
the men.
how do you feel it's for men also? Women. It's clearly
See,
men. But how
women like men who smell really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that if I don't know, I'd like a good smelling guy to be
So
sitting.
would you ever buy a boyfriend in Axe Dio?
I think I did once.
You did.
I
Which
did.
one did you buy?
I don't remember, but I did. There was a tinge of green in it.
So you just went by the smell, not because
No.
Okay. So you feel that women would want to buy Axe because they would want.
They would want
But
to
then that
buy
would be a
an
problem
Axe
for
tube.
you because then other women would like fall for him and stuff like
Yeah, that would be stupid on the part of my
that.
whoever the guy is. But
That would be stupid for him. You bought him the Dio.
yeah, but then okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. True, but it doesn't really happen that way in real life.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like Axe makes these ads, which like you say are monotonous. Like they are always on the lines of women going gaga over
Yeah.
men. But there's so many other brands doing that. Like there are a lot of
I know there are many. I've seen
Indian
many.
ads,
Yeah.
Indian brands like even I can't recall any right now. But I mean they all work on the same lines. Right?
They do.
Like
I
a girl
know.
is hanging clothes
Yeah.
and suddenly it falls and then she starts biting her lip and she jumps over a terrace.
Yeah, I
or
think
something
that
like
was Wildfire.
Wildstone.
Wildstone, yeah. I don't like the concept on a very serious note because it's commodifying women. You are using a woman for a men's brief advertisement. It's the same way you're using a woman in a men's deodorant advertisement. So I don't like the whole idea of commodifying them, but
So if you had a chance, how would you change it? Like, if you were said like direct an Axe film and not do it this way. Like for once, if you had the chance of showing that fine women cannot be objected, how would you make it?
I don't know.
Like you said, it is getting monotonous, which it is. They're just showing the same thing in different ways. Like initially it was a girl running after a man, now it's angels falling from the sky.
Maybe they should just come up with a different product altogether where they're selling a product for the lady and there are men running after her. Yeah, that's completely.
Yeah, so I want. That's a very interesting thing because I wanted to ask you that later on. Like, how do you think it would affect like Axe's image right now is a dude's brand?
Yeah, it's like a very patriarchal.
Yeah, but see, if you look at a brand like Fast Track, it's managed to sell for both men
and women. Yeah.
So if Axe were to come up with, let's say, a line of female Leos, how do you think that would work? Like, if that was a possibility, how would you position it?
It might, if I'm not wrong, and if Axe is really good in their if their creatives are really good, I'm sure they would connect the men's advertisement to the women, and then try and draw a whole parallel thing that's
like a continuation to the
yeah,
ads.
but where from this advertisement the woman becomes a little more powerful, maybe a lot more powerful than the man, because they've come up with a new product altogether. And I'm sure with all the social media that's coming up now, and with so much of women empowerment, the talks on women empowerment, I'm sure it's going to go about like wildfire.
So like basically you're trying to say that now men fall head over heels over women when they use ads.
Yeah, it could, that could be a possibility. You never
But
know.
see, like right now if you look at it, yeah, you have a fine share of women also using ads, like tomboys and girls who don't really give a shit about all this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just an ad, right?
Yeah.
But do you think if you shift to that, do you think ads should lose like a major chunk of its like loyal customers? Because if I'm a dude right now, and at the end of it, I'm associated with a brand where if the girl uses it, I'm going to go running after her like a dog.
No, as you already said that there are so many women, including me, I've also used ads. So, I do. Yeah, it on a very different level, it does make me feel bad that they are whatever commodifying women, or they are very stereotypical, very patriarchal, very it as if it has originated from a very patriarchal society. But then again, it has not stopped me from buying it because it's a product at the end of the day. And if it's sending out a very wrong message, and if people are taking to it, then then it's on a personal level for every individual.
Because like that's what I'm asking you. But how many ads of Axe have you seen? Like you can
Hardly
just-
one or two.
Because I'll tell you, there was this one ad which I was really surprised to see myself. Like there was this one ad. I don't remember the name of the product, but it came with like it was like a niche. It was specific to like a situation. Like usually when like it's basically centered around one kind of situation where you wake up the next morning with a girl next to you, right? Like after you whatever
Yeah.
the previous night's gone there. Right?
Yeah.
So basically it's centered around the whole idea of problem for a guy why after a night that went well was because the girl doesn't let you go. Like the girls love to cuddle, right? Like how they say. So the ad centers around this one guy who's playing tennis and the girl's still cuddling him. He's with his friends and the girl's still cuddling him.
Because of the smell.
He's taking a shit and the girl's still cuddling him.
Yeah.
So basically, Axe came up with a separate deo, and they came up with this. I found it really unique, but when I saw it, it was like you're completely like degrading women in that sense. That they came up with this blow-up pillow with the deo, which blows up into a chest with two arms. Okay,
And then you keep it.
yeah. So towards the ending of the ad, he blows it up and he keeps it around the girl and he puts deo around it, and she gets tricked into thinking that's him, and she turns her, and he literally jumps out of the house celebrating that he's finally free. So it is unique. Like if you look at the ad, you remember it, but I mean that's derogatory on a totally different
Yeah,
level.
it is.
So I mean, Axe has like, do you think Axe has crossed the line? I mean, or is it just still on the plain lines of fun?
I think they think it's funny, but sometimes it's upon the people whether they want to take it up as an issue or they don't want to take it up as an issue. When you take it up as an issue and when you start talking about it, that's when they get serious about it. That's when they know that someone in the entire world must have taken it in a wrong way or must have gotten offended by it. Unless and until I could laugh it off, and say that hey, this is such a stupid ad, and then just keep it to myself.
But then if you buy the Axe product, you're supporting.
Yeah, I am supporting it, but I'm not voicing myself out. So unless and until, okay, I may buy it, I may use it, but I can just tell them that I like your product, but you need to change your ways of selling your product because it's not right, because it's not good. You're portraying the whole female section in a very wrong way. Although it's a men's product, there are a whole section of society, different people in the society using it, from a kid to a grown-up man to a like I was saying. I think they need to change a little bit of the outlook, a little, because it's getting too mainstream and too monotonous and too stereotypical. But otherwise, I like their product. I would really like to use it if I want to in the future again, or if I'm put into a circumstance.
Well, like tell me one thing. Like, I mean, obviously, our educated society, when you look at it, we make like some people get offended, some people know that it's just an ad, but for certain lower sections of society, when they like Axe is pretty cheap, it's only 120 to 150 bucks a bottle. So when they look at it, like it may not be clear to them, they may be just going on the visuals. Do you think it gives out a wrong message and it's kind of contributing? Like you live in Delhi, so you know how it gets bad, like for women and girls at times with the way men behave. So do you think ads like these and ads which are more Indian, domestic, like Wildstone, do you think they are in a way contributing towards the whole, Eve teasing and the whole projection of the image that men have towards women?
See, I'll tell you, I have this perspective in my mind where the lower rung of the society are already, they have their mindset plugged into that one very narrow path that they are going into, and when they see such advertisements, they kind of immediately comply to them, thinking that is legit, but it's actually not, because things like that don't happen, but it's in a different angle. For example, women are suppressed in their society. Women are supposed to do what men want to do. Men want them to do, or they want them to cook for them or look after their children or be in the household. So
yeah, so I mean, going away from that, when a woman is projected like that, like she's licking the window because the guy is completely chocolate outside, and he's standing outside the window. So I mean, when a Indian rural man would look at that, or Indian middle class, lower class man would look at that, how do you think the image in his, I mean, obviously his old grandparents and fathers and mothers, if they see, they're gonna flip.
Yeah.
Because for them it's like it's against their principles and everything.
It is, but when people from such societies come into Delhi, or when they come into bigger cities from small towns where they are not exposed to girls wearing short skirts and holding onto a guy and walking on the street or going out on a date, when they see such things, they don't experience it on their own, but when they see it, they have a outlook which is completely different from what they had in their particular town or city and village, which leads them to thinking in a very different way. And I think that is the reason why the fact that they are not exposed to such visuals, and then suddenly they are, because of which they kind of get into maybe teasing, or they get into touching women.
Yeah, they maybe get into the whole thing, now we've got this, so now
Yeah.
we are like the guy and we had.
Yeah, and then sometimes I think that this can also be an attribute towards rape, because
Yeah, I was getting to that.
yeah, so you're raping women because you think
Yeah, because when you look at these ads, it makes the guy look so almighty and powerful, and it makes him look like as though all women are beneath him because he's got the D all around him.
Yeah.
So you think it gives out a wrong message in that sense?
yeah, it does. When you look deeper into it, it does, because I don't know. See, Axe is sold in other countries as well, like the US and in Europe or wherever, and people have a very different outlook towards women there.
Because of the culture.
Yeah, but if you look at the Middle East, I'm sure the Middle East will not have this
Yeah, I'm
ad.
pretty sure they're all banned. These ads are all banned.
Yeah, and in India, even if they are being shown, I don't know, it has a very reverse effect on it, because see, if I'm not wrong, these advertisements are made abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Most of
made
them,
abroad.
most of
Yeah.
them.
So people in abroad are so broad-minded in that sense that they can take it in and then just let it
Laugh
go.
it off.
Yeah, because for them, over there, men and women are equal. Both the girl and the guy leave the home when they're 16 or 18, and then they're on their own. So it's their decision whether they want to get into a sexual relationship, or they want to whatever they want to do. So the whole outlook, the whole concept becomes different there.
So do you think like how it is in the Middle East and places like China where censorship is so rigid, do you think if in India the censor board practices a little more caution in filtering out the kind of ads that come out? Because yeah, in one way if you look at it, it's good. Like India is opening up to a lot more, and in the other way, like we said, it probably is contributing to more towards teasing and men feeling more empowered over women. So do you think the censor board should practice a little more caution in seeing which kind of ads should actually go through? Because when I saw the chocolate ad, even I was a little this is a little over the top, and when I saw that other blow up pillow ad, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have even worked in India because half the people wouldn't have got what was going on.
Yeah.
But had they shown something like that, that would have taken a totally different angle. So what do you think? Do you think certain ads shouldn't be projected in India? Because see, whether you like it or not, India is in a way is a fairly majorly copying the Western lifestyle, and I mean we do project a lot of their culture. So
Yeah, we do have a very hegemonic, hegemonic situation where we're getting influenced by the US. Of course, the US is the superpower, so they will have a lot of control over.
influence.
Yeah, and India is not an enemy of the US. So if you are opening the market to let's say foreign companies like Axe, then you have to comply to
Comes with
their
the
ways.
ads,
Yeah. And if we look at it from a very political point of view within the country, then if you start censoring a lot of things, then the people, because it's a democracy, the people start saying things like, why are you
Yeah, why?
censoring so much? Because it's our wish whether we want to see it or not. But then again, if you don't censor, you're catering something very different and something very wrong to a whole rung of people in the society which won't understand what you're trying to tell
Yeah,
them.
because even if like a kid walks into the room and he sees something like that happening, and I mean when you're at that age, it's a very vulnerable age because
Yeah.
you're shaping your mind.
And we feel this way because our traditions, our values, yeah, it's different altogether if we grow up and if we go out and we're exposed to different things. But from the very beginning, we are very family oriented, and we think in a very different way. We are told to do this, we are told to do that, and all of that happens. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's all a very mixed situation, and I'm sure because it's a company which is based in the US or whatever, that they probably don't know what's happening within our nation. So yeah, I think there should be more people
So, okay,
telling
fine,
them.
like you said, Axe should maybe come up with a women's name, right?
Yeah.
So all the active feminists right now who openly practice not liking Axe and not buying its products, if it would change, like if their Axe's approach would change and they would come up with something where a product line for women, do you think these feminists would start buying Axe?
See, feminists are feminists. They will not change the outlook because
No, but now it's going to show that women are empowering
yeah,
men.
then it becomes completely different. Now there might be a viewpoint where you're saying that women, these feminists might completely say that okay, you're empowering women, wow, that's cool, okay, I'm going to take your side now. But then they might also say that are you trying to give a wrong message again out to the public, that you're saying that prostitutes should use Axe and then men will come running to them.
Right.
Yeah, that can be another outlook,
Yeah,
a different viewpoint again. So there will be criticisms, even if you take out a women's line, there will be criticism. If you change the whole idea of men using Axe in the advertisement, there will be criticism when you're trying to put them onto the same level. There will be, but it then depends. But people are still using Axe, right? Girls are still using Axe, boys are still using Axe. So.
And I know a lot of people who are not teenagers also who still use Axe because through their teens they've used Axe and they've kind of stuck onto Axe. So
Hi, could you do that? It's okay. I forgot your question.
no, like I'm saying, like it's not only teenagers because through your teens also when you use Axe, you tend to like continue using it even when you grow up. So I mean, one good thing that I figured out is like in a market like India, right? Axe will have to change its outlook completely, but with the situation of women right now in India, if Axe comes out with a target centered only around women empowerment and comes up with ads for Axe, totally empowering women, it would really work like in a place like
See,
India.
it could. There might be two ways. It could sell in a big way because now the whole situations are changing very dramatically in the sense that if you empower women, it's on the internet. You are
There's
protecting
nothing
them.
happening on
Yeah.
TV as such, and on a large scale,
Yeah.
like online.
Even if I am sitting doing Facebook, even if I'm sitting doing Facebook and the TV is on, I'm not looking at the TV. I'm more.
It's more shifting more into the social
Yeah.
media advertising. and
Yeah,
stuff.
and if by chance there is a product for women, I'm sure the first thing that's going to happen is that the advertisement is going to go online on Facebook or any other social media than on TV, because I think there are more people stuck onto their phones doing Facebook than sitting
But see,
and watching
you
TV.
also have to look at this thing. I mean, in our country, there are barely like 5% of the people who actually use the internet. And the massive chunk of the mass population does not have access to internet. So, probably it will be more effective if it would be on TV.
It could be, but then again, like the other day, I saw this vendor who was selling fish to us, and he had a phone, and he had a good phone. So if he can have such a gadget, I'm sure if someone else sees him using a phone, then he'll be like, oh cool, so he can do everything on it. I can also use it. So it's just
Do you feel that if Axe does come up with this, eventually they should use social media as their main
yeah,
focus?
it's like part of consumerism. So you're selling a product and you have to know what you're hitting on, in the sense how you're going to sell it, in which through TV, through mobile, through hoardings, but it's just how you visualize, how people see
How do you
it.
think the Indian population will grasp that empowering women now? As
They might take it in a positive way after what happened to that girl in Delhi.
yeah.
So
That's what even I was saying. Like in India specifically, they'll have to change their outlook completely because it's completely youth oriented and taking up a serious cause.
and it's not just India. They could do it for a whole set of
Campaign.
advertisers. Yeah, for Southeast Asia, or maybe all the peripheral countries, who are still developing. They could do that, but then if you're doing that, then you're also downgrading the whole country, saying that we are making a different ad altogether just because you're a quote unquote developing country and not developed entirely.
Yeah. So finally coming, would you ever recommend Axe to anybody?
Yeah, if I have to recommend it as a product,
No, like not as a seller of Axe, but just as a normal person, like.
Yeah, why shouldn't I? I like it myself, and because I like it, if someone asks me what you're putting as a deo or something, then I tell them I'm using Axe and it smells really good. You should also try it because it lasts this long or whatever its features are. Otherwise, yeah.
What about your hardcore feminist friends, if you have any?
Yeah, they might argue a lot, but who cares? I like it. I like using it. And they can't change my mind just because someone's using a wrong way of advertising a product. It is.
It's wrong. So
Yeah, it's wrong. So you can't change the fact that it is
So
wrong.
it sells.
Yeah, it sells.
Thank you.